Hello, one and all, and welcome to the 150th episode of the Voluntary Viewing podcast, recorded on August 1st, 2021. We made it to August. A lot of shit happened in July, which is weird, right? I don't know. Immediately undercutting myself. That's my energy today, apparently.
Man. Just lights a cigarette and puts head down on the table. God damn it all. Motherfucker.
It's been 2 weeks since we've done one of these. I'm a little rusty.
It's been 2 weeks since I went to... I don't even know what that song is.
1 week, Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is it Bare Naked Ladies?
That's the one.
I'm sorry.
BNL has 2 Billboard Choice Awards to yours 0.
Maybe you want to figure out your own stuff before you start going after one of Canadians' most beloved bands, you selfish, jaded ass.
Canada. I like that. Like, any country where like the people end with AN should be like Norwegia and like Canada. Like they should all be absolutely the Latin or whatever singular form. I'm in.
Fuck yeah. And the man who is in is also a man who doesn't want to hear any questions about the tables. Ryan Holtz.
Freddie got my tables all dirty. It's like he just threw them on the ground. Ah!
I feel like you guys are still talking about I think you should leave with Tim Robinson.
Yeah. No, you knew it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. It's that style.
When I was out in Florida, I listened to a couple of the episodes of the podcast you guys did, and I did not expect an entire episode to be dedicated solely to just talking about bits from I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson.
You're ranking them.
Yeah.
My only
definitive quarantine cast ranking.
My only exposure to I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson is a 30-second clip that I saw from it at the beginning of a Binging with Babish episode where he did sloppy steaks.
He did sloppy steaks. Yeah, and it's fucking gold.
Yeah.
And if you like Auntie Donna, Tim Robinson is just like the American aggressive form of Auntie Donna, like just absurdist sketch comedy. And it's very hit or miss. It is. You'll get gold and you'll get sketches that you're like, ooh, but it was only lasted a minute, so you're like, whatever.
Okay,
on to the next one.
I stand by it. I stand by what I said in that Quarantine Cast episode where I said, I can't recommend this show to people. The only guarantee I know if somebody's going to like it is if they're already watching it and enjoying it.
Yeah. It's very in your face. It's mean.
But of course Andrew's not watching season 2 of I Think You Should Leave. That's because he's too busy watching and trying to keep Corncob TV alive.
I don't know what you guys want from me. I really
want you to quote it verbatim like we are.
Yeah, okay.
DirecTV is looking to drop 23 premium channels from its subscription model coming in August. One of those, of course, being Corncob TV and its hit new show, Coffin Flop.
See, I did actually see the whole Coffin Flop thing like on Twitter because people were posting photos of this.
Yeah.
Like it was real.
You must have rigged the coffins. There's no way that many coffins have the bottoms drop out and the corpses fall out. I didn't rig shit. I didn't do shit. We just film funerals, and this keeps happening.
Why are so many of them naked?
Yeah. Why are a tenth of them nude?
They're telling me you gotta have permission to air this on live TVs. No, I don't. They don't have souls.
Oh, man. I've been waiting for years for a hit on Corncob TV. And now you're going to fuck me like this? God damn it.
To all of our loyal viewers out there, you've listened to the Voluntary Viewing podcast, and over the last year and a half, you've somehow continued to listen to the Quarantine Cast. I'm here to tell you today, as a special brand new offering, the Voluntary Viewing podcast cinematic universe is launching their third and absolutely not final podcast, the I Think You Should Leave cast, with Lucas and Ryan, and not Andrew, because Andrew is quitting.
Yeah. Andrew can't put up with 4 minutes of me and Lucas having fun talking about this. Meanwhile, Chainsaw Man, Death Stranding, like just all these topics that I can't participate in.
That's what the viewers wanted, Brian. We were
they're
just looking at
clamored.
the metrics.
More manga, more manga. Can't get enough.
And I can't get enough classic cars because I have 3 of the Barracudas, 3 of the Roadrunners, and now that this deal has gone through, 3 of the Novas. My name is Lucas DeRuyter, and I now have 3 of the Novas.
Triples is safe.
Yeah.
Triples is best.
Can we
You probably
mention-
saw a lot of that too, because Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, I was
had a
gonna
health
say,
scare
can we
this
say
last
like
week, so-
at least Bob Odenkirk's okay? Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was last episode of the Quarantine Cast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it was like the fandom of I Think You Should Leave, just giving him that extra
Yeah.
fucking energy, man. I loved that, like, he's just now that, I mean, granted, he was a sketch comedian, like Mr. Show, it kind
Right.
of launched modern sketch comedy in a lot of ways, but like, yeah, I think he was revitalized and brought into the forefront, and everyone's like, wait, the guy who plays the scumbag lawyer is a funny sketch comedian? Like,
Yeah.
That's his whole deal.
yeah, wild. It's like, oh, no, that was what he was known for. He was a writer and a performer in sketch comedy. Yep.
How did Bob Odenkirk not end up with his own talk show? Like, you know, like him and Jon Stewart, I remember, kind of started out together.
I think it was beneath him, right? Like, I think he was just too good of an actor
Right.
to just be like a host. you
I
know?
can go to the shows, man. I can be on the screen. I don't need to talk to people.
And I don't live in a hotel. Too good.
Oh, God.
It's a show it's like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where it's more fun to quote
Yep.
than to watch. Like it is
Okay.
fun to watch, but it's way more fun to just like take delight in doing random bullshit quotes all the time. Like sketches that I didn't really find that funny are still really fucking fun to quote on Twitter and stuff. Like to interact with other fans of the show with on Twitter. Like one of my least favorite sketches of this season was the adult ghost tour, but I feel like that's one of the ones that gets the most traction on like I Think You Should Leave Twitter, and it is fun every time I see a reference to it, even though this sketch itself was really bad for me.
I'm not trying to make anyone have the worst day of their job. I'm just politely asking, did any of those fuckers ever fly in here and jizz everywhere with their giant horse cocks?
Did you make any friends?
Not really.
Yeah. Ah. Oh man, yeah. Andrew, you're like an anti-vaxxer who's just like,
Oh, okay. No.
I'm missing
I don't
out.
care what the punchline of that joke
I'm
is.
missing out. My rights are being taken away. I can't participate.
Oh.
It's like, well, you could. It's free.
Andrew. Oh, Andrew, there are no punchlines, and I think you should leave. It's just a descent.
There really aren't, though.
No.
There's never a build-up. Like, it's just continual absurdist comedy that just doesn't have, like, a set-up punchline structure at all. And you kind of expect it, and that's what fucks with you, is that there isn't one. Auntie Donna tries to, like, punctuate their sketches, I feel like, and I think you should leave just does not. They don't give a fuck.
This sounds bad, and don't get me wrong. I talked to Jade about it last night. I think we're gonna try to watch it in the next couple of days. I don't think I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, you won't.
And I like Andy Donna. I like Monty Python. I like a lot of absurdist shit. This doesn't sound good to me.
It's fucking beloved.
Yeah, I hope that I do like it. I don't like to hate things. I just do hate a lot of things.
It's getting traction where Auntie Donna didn't. Like, Auntie Donna was good, and people liked it, and especially in their niche community that they formed, people enjoy it. But I Think You Should Leave is getting mainstream recognition, which is cool. So.
Yeah. And we are going to recognize some mainstream news in News of the Week. Netflix is going to add video games to its subscription streaming service sometime soon. I don't think anyone is excited about this.
So this was my question from the beginning, and we talked about it a little bit before the podcast before Andrew hopped on, but like, what do you think their delivery method is going to be of this? Because, if it's what you said, Lucas, and it's just like Bandersnatch clones, I'm going to be real upset.
Yeah.
Like if they're calling that just video games now.
Yeah, I need to read the article. I haven't had the chance to do so. Is it going to be that Netflix is going to be producing video games? I'm putting in air quotes here because we don't really know what that is yet. Right. Or is it going to be that, if you have Netflix on your Xbox,
right, you
can play Xbox games, you can stream them through Netflix. Mm-hmm. Like, is that how it's going to work?
Yeah.
Or is Netflix just going to be like, we made a AAA video game. Here's the Netflix controller. And it's just going to be like Google Stadia? Or, is it going to be Bandersnatch shit?
Or is it going to be like PlayStation Plus's like game of the month, where like Netflix finds an older game that's kind of like starting to, lose any actual market appeal and just pays the developers to let all Netflix subscribers download the game for free for a month. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's this.
There's a lot of models and they don't specify. Yeah. It's just a Bloomberg report basically going like they're gonna do it. So, yeah.
There, like you said, there are a lot of models. There's so many different fucking weird video game product services out there, and streaming videos. I mean, video streaming services are more or less the same basic concept all around. Yeah. It's just the content difference. Mm-hmm. I don't know what this is going to be.
Yeah.
I guess the first question I have is, are you going to create a remote computer situation, kind of like what Google Stadia does, so you can play this on anything? Basically, what I'm curious about is, can you turn your Roku TV remote into a controller and play Assassin's Creed with that?
I'd be amazed if that's what they're talking about. I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
The amount of investment that took, especially when, like you said, it's been done and it failed miserably.
Yeah, no one's going to try to do what Google Stadia did for a long time, maybe ever.
Yeah.
Because it didn't work.
Yeah. 5G, though, it's going to fix all these problems. Yeah.
Not if it gives me cancer.
Gives me COVID.
I'm Andrew, and I'm here to tell you that the vaccine puts 5G in you. And you wouldn't like that, trust me.
Wait, so I'm a walking hotspot, basically? I never have to deal with having no reception ever again?
Yeah.
Don't make this positive.
It's backfired. Like Trump Jr.'s tweet about vaccine passport, or requiring vaccine cards in order to vote.
They're like, yes.
Everyone's like, wait, we could do that.
Let's do it.
Vaccine cards are free. It's actually better than requiring any other ID.
Yeah.
And only certain kinds of people are vaccinated. Oh, wait, hold on. A lot of black people aren't vaccinated. I don't want to do this.
It's like 75% of Democrats and 41% of Republicans. It would give clear landslide victories to Democrats across the board. So, yeah, I think that's more the meme is like, well, yeah, no, we can't do that. But also, let's do it because you suggested it, which makes it fucking hilarious that it would cause the ruin of your political party. And also because it is actually a better solution than proposed Republican voter ID laws. Where it is a poll tax. It costs money to get a federally issued ID.
Exactly. Because the Republican quote-unquote solution is not a solution. It's a prevention. It's causing a problem. And we all know why.
Yeah. No, like, I think my stance has always been, like, if there were to be a free, like, federally issued identification that would get mailed to every single citizen who is eligible to vote in United States elections, then I don't care. Yeah. Sounds like a non-issue. But that's not what they want. So, yeah, it's bullshit. Like, I don't give a fuck if that's your actual plan, if you're going to actually do that and mail it out to every single person and blah, 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 whatever. But that's not what you want to do.
Nah.
So, yeah, in this way, vaccines are all free. All the cards are free. You just have to choose to do it. So it is actually better.
Yeah, we should use vaccine cards as voter registration. JK, unless. Fucking memes are how we cope with current states of politics. Fuck the Switch (OLED model) (unparenthesis). Valve unveils the Steam Deck, a Switch-like device that will allow you to play Steam games on the go. I don't know who's gonna buy this, and it looks unappealing to me in a way I'm not totally sure how to articulate.
Lucas, it's clearly, obviously, for people that are too hardcore video game or too into video games to buy something dumb and casual like the Switch.
Right.
But, not so into video games that they would spend, I don't know, like $100 or $200 extra to build a PC. And they want to play on the go.
Yeah.
But don't do mobile gaming.
I want to play on the go. Not like a decent gaming laptop, though.
It's
not
for people. It's for people that want to play the Hunt Showdown in 800p.
Yeah, I love that as like a selling point. They were like, oh, this can run all the modern AAA titles because the resolution is only 720p. It's like, I get it. It's a smaller screen.
Right.
In theory, you don't need as much resolution. But it's just a weird... You're saying it like it's a feature that the resolution is so low.
Good news, everyone. It looks bad.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. We can run it on pretty high settings.
Oh, by the way, I was right about those weird little pad things under the joysticks. Those are absolutely like track pads to like replicate a mouse.
Oh,
yeah. I loved those guys. It was one of the reviews, and they were just like, "Oh, it's surprising how intuitive it is, and how it kind of feels like just a normal mouse." And I'm like, "No, it fucking doesn't. Like, come on, you know it doesn't. Like, if you've played PC games, a trackpad is not even close to a legitimate replacement for a mouse.
It's the same as if you are playing like a shooter game on your phone, and you drag your thumb across the screen to make you aim. That's what it is.
Like a pro gamer.
Yeah.
Pro gamers famously love touch controls.
I'm using tilt controls. So I also saw that there are like different levels of it, because one version costs $400, one costs $600, and one costs $800, I think. I don't know what the differences are between them.
Isn't it all like just storage?
So
is that it?
I got it here. $400 for the 64 gigabyte internal storage.
Yeah, it's just storage.
Does this have expandable like SSD storage? Because 64 is not nearly enough.
No, that's like one game. That's like GTA 5, maybe.
You can't play a Call of Duty on this with that level of storage.
Battlefield.
Okay, big jump. $530 for 256 gigabyte SSD storage, and exclusive Steam community profile bundle.
Oh yeah.
What does that even mean?
Get those badges. I don't fucking know. And then $650 for 512 gigabytes SSD and an anti-glare etched glass screen.
That seems necessary.
Yeah,
Right.
wait, what? That's
For a
not
handheld?
on the other versions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need the anti-glare screen for a handheld console.
You can adjust the brightness though on a base model, right? Because that's
Well,
what I just do for a Switch when I'm playing in like
There's
more
no way
direct
you
light.
can't. Like,
Yeah.
But what if
I'm
you
sure,
can't?
but like, how much does it really cost to put in an anti-glare screen? Like, is that $30 extra bucks for the manufacturer?
And you can
that feels
only
like
get that
just
on
a
the
feature.
$800 model?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Clearly, Valve believes in this project though, because just to get a spot in line to pre-order this game, not like a down payment on a pre-order, to have the opportunity of pre-ordering the Steam Deck, you got to pay $5.
What?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they sold the what's it called? The Steam Link that I use to play Steam games on my TV for like $2. Like, I'm not joking. They must have just made too many, and they were just desperately trying to get rid of warehouse space. And they sold it for like $2. It was great.
Giving that shit away, damn.
Yeah, it was like $10 shipping. Like the shipping was 5 times as much as the price of the Steam Link. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is a no-brainer.
No. Okay, that is going to take us to definitely the biggest story in gaming these past couple weeks. Activision Blizzard is being sued by the state of California for being... I wish my grasp of language was better to find a more appropriate word, but the only thing I can think of is just a comically sexist organization. To the point of being a cliche. To the point of being a stereotype. It is fucking ridiculous what was going on there.
Yeah, no, just like bad stuff. Like, just worst case scenario, sexist shit. The kind of stuff that everyone knows is going on all the time, everywhere. Yeah. But hey, at least Activision is responding in the way that everyone knows that they should. Hiring a union-busting firm to make sure that their employees don't try to unionize after this.
By having a former Bush administration spokesperson say that this is just government overreach. This is just the lazy feds looking for something to do, not accurate. Just fucking deny.
It's fake news.
No.
This is cancel culture.
I mean, you joke, but yeah, that's gonna be their defense.
No,
Yeah.
I know. I'm not joking.
That's all they're gonna-
I'm being serious.
And meanwhile, a woman was literally driven to kill herself due to how she was treated while working at Blizzard Activision. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so Frances Townsend has been just... I don't know what her response strategy has been, what Blizzard's response strategy has been, because she is just seemingly stoking the flames of generating bad public opinion, even worse public opinion of the company. There was a walkout on Wednesday. Several Activision Blizzard employees issued some demands. No talk of unionization yet, but it was stuff like getting rid of arbitration for contracts, general workers' rights stuff that should probably be in place already. But yeah, it fucking what well, I know how it gets this bad. I know how this kind of how this kind of culture can foster, but for the state to go after a company is when just ridiculous. God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad.
Not good. Not a good time. Good luck to all those employees. Anything happening in television or film we should talk about?
Everyone hates Space Jam 2.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they forget how bad Space Jam 1 was.
Fair.
Because they were little baby children.
Little babbies.
They were like, oh, Bugs Bunny dunking. Whoa. This is so good. It lost all the charm of the original. And it's like,
I mean,
because of all the ad placement. And it was like, what? The first one was that.
The entire movie was maybe, you could argue, just an ad from Michael Jordan coming back to basketball. Like,
yeah.
fuck.
And I'm 100% bought into this, that he was suspended for a year for gambling and all sorts of like problems, like betting on NBA games and stuff like that. And the NBA needed to keep that under wraps because he was literally the face of the sport of all time. Like, they needed him to not be tarnished like Pete Rose was. So they said, we're going to suspend you for a season.
Go do
but
something else.
We're not going to announce it. And he was like, I'm going to play pro baseball. And that'll be the excuse for why I'm retiring for a year. And yeah. I will never, that no one, I don't think anyone can change my mind on that.
Yeah.
I am pretty certain that that's exactly what happened.
Although you say the sequel loses the charm of the original, they do kill Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny does die in Space Jam 2.
Good.
He deserves
Bugs
it.
Bunny's a fucking asshole.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he is. He kind of just is. Can be a lovable asshole at times, but he's absolutely an asshole.
He mostly goes after people who deserve it. Well,
He's a terrorist. Like,
Yeah.
Elmer Fudd is trying to murder him, and that opera singer was rude.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the opera singer was just a little bit rude. Like, yeah. Bugs Bunny, canonically, like, super racist against Asian people. Like,
That's fair.
we're going to...
Yeah.
We can talk about some problems here, like not if you look at him as an actual being that exists, which is what you have to do if you're gonna say Elmer Fudd is in the wrong when he's literally hunting rabbits, like, then we can talk about his actual opinions that he's had over the years. So yeah, I'm fine with him dying. First one, not great. Rewatch it as an adult and tell me that it's not like just a mediocre kids movie with really bad acting.
Michael Jordan can't act. I don't know if LeBron James can act, but he can act better than Michael Jordan.
LeBron James is a passable non-actor.
Yeah.
Like, with the proper direction, LeBron James can deliver a performance. Michael Jordan is not an actor.
LeBron has like charisma and has been on the screen before. He's done this kind of thing, at least in a smaller capacity, and he's probably not going to win any Oscars anytime soon, but holy fucking shit, can Michael Jordan not act?
Michael Jordan, the hyper-serious, like, competitive asshole that, like, constantly demands the best out of everyone, versus LeBron James, the fucking cornball, like, just
Taco Tuesday guy.
Yeah, just dicks around all the time when he's not, like, in the playoffs. Like, yeah, I could guess who would be the better actor. Yeah.
All right, that's going to take us into the other category. Kickstarter shuts down a campaign for a supposed anime streaming platform, AnimeTube. The campaign was criticized as being misleading and having unrealistic goals, such as licensing hundreds of high-profile anime and building a website and AI assistant on a budget of $50,000.
Look what they did to my boy. The man is just trying to keep us down. Big Crunchyroll is trying to stop any competition. This was actually going to be a platform for the consumer, and they're trying to take it down. They're trying to silence us. Yeah.
Great points. They're making great points. Except what they were pitching was completely unrealistic. And anyone who knew anything about the biz knows that.
$50K would be the license fee for like a mid-tier show, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like, let alone an actual platform. Mm-hmm. And actually running it, like having servers and like being able to host stuff.
Also, like they were, God, just doing sketchy stuff like right out of the gate. Like they said in the campaign, oh yeah, we've reached out to companies about acquiring the licenses to these shows. And then somebody got in the comments on Twitter like, hey, so I'm in charge of licensing at this company. We own these. I haven't talked to you. And they were like, oh no, we went to the Japanese company about this. And like, one, sure you did. Two, did you fucking try to go above me on this? Did you just admit to like, no, we're not talking. We're talking to your boss. Like that's who we're in meetings with. Yeah. Like what the fuck?
We're pretty big league guys.
Yeah,
like, no, I know we're just a random Kickstarter.
We've got almost $50,000 in our Kickstarter, dude. Maybe you should get on my level.
Yeah. Guy in charge of licensing for a major media corporation probably makes 5 times that every year for their Kickstarter.
Also, I've read the Kickstarter before it was shut down. Some of it was weird and not very clear. It was like...
Because it was a scam. It wasn't real. It was never going to happen.
One of their pitches was Crunchyroll and Funimation suck. They have bad UI design and there are ads on them. On our platform, the UI is going to be great and you can pay not to have ads on the platform like every other subscription service. Like, I don't...
Yeah, I see that about Hulu a lot, where people are like, Hulu's fucking F tier in comparison with Netflix with all their ads, and it's just like, the Hulu ad-free subscription price is lower than Netflix's. Like, I'm not saying that like Hulu's better than Netflix, but like, you're complaining about ads, which means you're paying for the shitty tier, which is like a third of Netflix's price. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand. You don't get basic economics. Like, yeah, if you don't pay as much, they gotta make their money back somehow. Like, you're gonna get some ads. Yeah,
I don't.
They're not gonna get ads. They're gonna get ads. No one's gonna get ads.
Or people say that about HBO, where they're like, I pay so much for HBO just to get commercials. And it's like, they're like 30-second bumpers for
HBO
other
shows.
HBO shows
that's
that
it.
you probably will enjoy if you watch them. And also, I've binged a lot on HBO. And when I would binge, they would only do that for the first episode of the binge. And then you could just watch straight through and keep watching more episodes of the same show. So...
You know what? Not to defend advertisements, not to defend capitalism, but like back when we were doing Game of Thrones watch parties, that would set the tone a little bit, you know, to get the sizzle reel of this is all the HBO shit, and then you got the static fade in of the logo, and then it's
like here we go.
This is starting.
I don't know if you've ever had it where like you make a playlist and you play it so much that you memorize the order. So like the end for the rest of your life, the ending of one song, your brain starts to get ready for what you know to be the next song in the playlist. That's me with when you hear the HBO logo, I always expect to hear the and just like, here we go. But I don't know. It's not defending capitalism. It's more just like be realistic. Like understand why, because it feels like you're complaining without just a base level knowledge of why things are the way they are. Like, I can understand if you were making your argument from a place of like, no, this sucks, the product is compromised. But it seems like more you just have no knowledge of how anything works. You think things are all just like free, and like the Game of Thrones, which cost like $20 million an episode to produce, can just operate at a loss. Like,
I'm sorry, ad blockers don't apply to MP4s, my dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
So, I think this is a good segue into a question that I've wanted to ask you guys for a long time.
Okay.
It's like the last couple of months, like I've been thinking like, oh, this episode, I'm finally going to bring this up. I keep forgetting. And then I saw Freddie Wong actually tweeted a couple weeks ago, like asking the exact same question. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I'll ask it then. And then I never did. We're talking about Game of Thrones and HBO and all these other streaming services. I remember it was a conversation that we were having back in college, that it was kind of a well-accepted thing that we are currently in the golden age of TV. We're not sure if movies are as good as they were in the past or will be as good as they are in the future. There's a lot of franchises that way, but like we're in the golden age of TV right now. So my two-part question is, was that true? And if it is that over? If that was the golden age of television, with the exclamation point being obviously Game of Thrones, but then Breaking Bad and all those other shows that were huge that everyone was watching and talking about at the same time, was that the golden age of television? And if it was, has it ended and we're now in something else?
I'll say I think it peaked then higher than it is nowadays. I don't know if that's going to be the canonical, that was the best era of television. I don't know that we're not going to get to that place again. Because the fragmentation of audiences just continued. It was the perfect meeting point of where audiences hadn't fragmented enough to where they were expecting this really niche content, like I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, or like something that appeals just to them and maybe 500,000 other people. We were at that crossroads where people weren't quite to that point, and also there was so much choice that there was so much content being churned out that like stuff would catch on, and when it caught on, it fucking like lit on fire, and the whole world was taken over by this one show. And I just don't think we're quite in that space yet. And then to adapt to the fact that these niche audiences were forming, I think most of those big name companies, with maybe the exception of HBO, but I don't think that they've quite found their Game of Thrones replacement that like is just high quality and massive. All those companies started just making shit. Just making bad, mediocre fucking TV.
Yeah.
And not caring that it was mediocre because 500,000 people are going to watch it and that's all they care about. Like, you just need the audience that it's intended for to watch it, and you don't really give a fuck if it's actually any good.
Right.
And that has become a very successful model, and every company is kind of copying that. So I think there was that era where the crossroads of like quality content was still being made because they hadn't quite discovered that you could just throw a bunch of bullshit at the wall until something stuck. And also audiences weren't expecting that bullshit of like, just this is made literally for like women aged 23 to 25 who live in the Midwest.
Yep.
Like, just so remarkably specific and niche where like it couldn't possibly catch fire and become like a global phenomenon in the same way.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to say, yeah, I think it was. I don't know that it's like going to always be the quote unquote golden age, but like the golden age of cinema, like, was declared that and has probably been surpassed since then at some point. But it was declared that, and I think that it's fair to call it the golden age of TV. And I do think that, yeah, we're not there anymore. We have moved on to another era of like just fucking microcasting. Just like, you don't need, to be a global phenomenon. It can help. Like, it can be a big tent programming of like, this will get more people on your streaming service. But in the grand scheme of things, you really need name recognition so that people will actually buy your streaming service and try it out, and then just fucking narrow casting like a bunch of stuff and being able to market that narrow casted programming to the intended audience and having it catch on remarkably well with that intended audience. And that is a remarkably successful platform strategy, and I think that it's outcompeting stuff like HBO when they try to just make really, really good stuff that people really like. And because of that, I think HBO is struggling to find that Game of Thrones because of the shifted landscape. So, yeah.
I'm going to say I hope that wasn't the golden age of TV, because Game of Thrones sucked, and it would suck if the best television was defined by
Game of Thrones did
not
not
a great
suck.
show.
The ending of Game of Thrones sucked.
The ending of Game of Thrones sucked. If you're going to tell me to my face that the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones sucked, then I don't even know what to tell you, man.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was peak.
Yeah.
That was the best TV that's ever been made.
The first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones was just so consistently good and engaging where you couldn't stop thinking about it. And season 5 was, by comparison, not nearly as good as those previous 4 seasons, but still better than almost any other TV out there. And then season 6 was solid. And
the problem was the consistency dropped off. Seasons 1 through 4, every episode was an 8 out of 10, bare minimum, and then you'd get the 10 out of 10 episodes. After that, it became you'll get 10 out of 10 episodes sometimes. You'll get Hard Home. You'll get the Battle of Winterfell. You'll get like the crazy ass, unbelievable episodes. But the ones in between them are like 5 out of 10, like just not that great. So that's the issue. And then the ending was just dog shit. Like, and I'm not afraid to admit that. But that I would argue that was kind of already we were out of the true golden era where like people were, like Andrew said, like the shows that you brought up already were kind of more like late 2000s, late aughts, early 10s, early teens or whatever the fuck. Like that was already pretty decently out of that range of the golden era.
Season 4 of Game of Thrones was, what, 2015, 2014, something like that?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Jesus.
But it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
So.
Damn. And it's one of those things where no one really called it the golden age of television until after the fact.
I mean, I took television classes in 2014, 2015.
No,
they were absolutely referring to it as the golden age of television.
Oh.
We had these conversations in college of like, man, is the television industry like better than movies now? Is this where the best content lives?
Shit out of movies. Actors, directors, auteurs were abandoning movies
to make TV
in favor of TVs. I would still argue, by the way, that the television industry is still better than movies right now, especially when you look at what the fuck is in theaters and just how it's all just bullshit, because that's all that studios can make nowadays.
There's like half a dozen good movies that come out every year.
Yeah,
and that's it.
And they're all indie. There's maybe one that comes out of a major studio, and the rest of them are just indie. Like, we're not trying to make millions of dollars. We're just trying to make good movies. Like,
What's your take? Sorry, go ahead, Lucas.
No, and I just want to say quick. I think that television kind of moving a bit further away from that model, just doing a more of a scattershot of content. I definitely think I enjoy that more than the quote unquote golden age of TV, where we did get a lot of like bigger stuff that, like Game of Thrones, which was certainly impressive, but I don't know. I like finding like 2 or 3 weird shows every year that end up being some of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Yeah, but I'd argue that existed back then.
That's fair.
You still had the narrow shows on top of the just fucking gargantuan. Like, it was water cooler TV. That's the buzzword that we use of like this is what people are talking about. Like this is literally the common ground. It doesn't matter your political affiliation. It doesn't matter how old you are. Like, everyone is watching this show and they want to talk about it. Like, that was a unique thing that existed before that too. Like, think of Lost and stuff like that. Like, there were shows that were that big, but they didn't have, I would argue, that narrow, like, unique television. And I think that now just the water cooler shows are kind of dying. And we're shifting to more of the only narrow. So I preferred it when, like I said, there was the meeting point of there was still narrow shows and there was still content out there for everyone, on top of still having these fucking behemoths that literally tens of millions of people were watching. Like, and that was cool for me. I enjoyed the first season of Westworld when you'd go on the Westworld subreddit and they were figuring it out. Like you could participate in
the mystery,
literally figuring out the puzzle to the point where the creator got pissed off and said, stop figuring out everything. Like, that's pretty fucking awesome. That was a cool experience when everyone was just like, wait, I don't remember Bernard and Arnold's last names, but they were like, it's an anagram. Like, they knew Bernard's last name, and so then they said, oh, Bernard has some similar letters. Let's take his last name and his first name and find Arnold and make up a common last name. And they figured it out. Like, they were like, Bernard blah 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 has the same letters as Arnold blah blah blah, even though they didn't know Arnold's last name at the time. And then they cut to, in one of the episodes, they had his nameplate, and it was Arnold last name, and they had his last name. Like, not only did they figure out that Bernard was Arnold, they figured out Arnold's fucking last name before they announced his last name. Like, that was fucking insane. That was really cool. So, like, yeah, I don't know. It was a fun time. Like, and I appreciated those shows, and I feel like that's kind of a bygone thing. Yeah. And if a show does hit, it just doesn't hit in the same way. It's like Tiger King, where it's like fucking flash in the pan for maybe a week. People are like, holy shit, or like Bridgerton, it's like, holy shit, this is cool, and then it's dead.
I think
it doesn't have the staying power.
I don't know if part of that is
it's the model, it's the release model of Netflix.
You're releasing it all at once so that there isn't the opportunity to go and talk to your friends and coworkers every single week on Monday morning and be like, yo, guys, that was fucking wild. What's going to happen next? Because you have seen all 10 to 15 hours of that show over the weekend.
Yeah. The show that comes to mind of just like a level of expensive as Game of Thrones was The Boys. I mean, at its core, that series is kind of a parody of superhero stories, and a lot of people just aren't down for that.
Yeah, The Boys is not... It's what I would call, like, narrow. They're spending a fuck ton of money, and they're clearly trying to bill it as a tentpole, but it's never going to be, like, the mainstream appeal of these other shows that came out. And, like, people are like, oh, it's because it's hyper-violent, it's because it's edgy with its humor and stuff. It's like fucking Game of Thrones was... literally like people's heads exploding and just like full on penetrative sex, and you're gonna tell me that like The Boys is like, you know, it's limiting its audience. It's like, no, it's just that it's never going to be as broad. Like, it's in our modern world, like I just don't think those shows can catch on anymore, which is fine. I'm not saying it's inherently a bad thing, and I've still found a ton of really good shows that I enjoy, but I think I'm kind of craving. I enjoy going on the subreddits for shows and like discussing the episode with other people. Like, it's part of my enjoyment. It's I do it with sports as well. I'll go into the post game threads on subreddits and like hear what people are talking about and everything like that, and watch Brooklyn Nets fans be like, Giannis injured Kyrie, and everyone's like, you did it intentionally, and everyone's like, you fucking morons. Like, no, you're a loser. Like, get out of here. We hate you, and like downvote him. And it's like, yeah.
I'm sorry, Andrew. You had one more point.
Well, it was more of a question because we were like, I think the moment was kind of lost, but like we were talking for a little bit about like indie movies and like the state of film and stuff like that. There's been a lot of really weird discourse about movies in the last couple of days on Twitter. I think it kind of started with CinemaSins and how everyone realized they fucking hate CinemaSins.
Oh, dude, this has been a conversation happening in cycles since 2014.
Sure, I know, but I keep seeing more and more stuff that it just keeps evolving every day to the point now where it's like, what is the point of Rotten Tomatoes and like our audience scores, you know, because they're like always different than critic scores. Who do you really listen to? Is it the critic who is paid to like a specific kind of movie and like use their pretentious yet definitely more educated viewpoint on things? Or do you listen to the audience, the slovenly masses of proletariats that usually have terrible opinions but are the people, and you know, shit like that? And then the sticking point is always comes back to A24. Are A24 movies good, or are A24 movies bad? And like it always comes back to A24, and I don't fucking get it.
The problem with Rotten Tomatoes, like the criticism that like, oh, the audience score matters more than the critic score, is because people still don't fucking understand what the percentages are. Like they think, oh, the audience gave it an 80%, thinking that the audience gave it an 8 out of 10. It's like, no, 80% of people, just random fucking Joe Schmo, said it was worth watching. Like, people are dumb, dude. Like, I just... Yeah, they're going to be more easily impressed than a critic, and they're going to say, yeah, it was worth the $10. I ate some popcorn and saw some explosions. Like, yeah, worth it to me. And like, yeah, a critic's going to expect a little bit more. And like, if you consider yourself to be a bit of a cinephile, your opinions are probably going to line up a lot more with critics than with the audience, because the audiences are fucking morons. Like, and that's why we are where we are in terms of like the cinematic industry, is because the only movies that make money are ones where fucking Joe Schmo is going like, Iron Man punched Captain America, ha ha ha, thumbs up from me. Like, it's fucking bullshit. And yeah, movies are dead to me. Like, they just are.
My
TV's better.
My absolute favorite thing that I always see is some fucking asshole coming along and then reposting the end fight from Avengers Endgame and being like, this is the greatest moment of cinematic history and you can't convince me otherwise. And then like 50 million comments of like, go kill yourself, go kill yourself, go kill yourself.
Like, the dude who did it is obviously just baiting.
In the first Avengers movie, because it was unique and new and really cool, and they were doing something different. By the time Endgame came around,
there was 22 or 20 something fucking movies. They did it for so long.
They had every single movie that had more than one superhero would have an epic group shot moment. Like DC, Marvel, anything. If there was more than one superhero, there would be a moment where they all lined up and went like, here we go. Like, so completely, it was the coolest of all of those moments, but it had been done so much before that you can't tell me that the impact wasn't lost. Like, in the original one, it was where the camera like did that circle, and all of them were like looking out at the Chitauri or whatever the fuck, and like the Hulk was like, rah, and it was like, holy shit, they're all together. This is fucking crazy. But that was 2010.
Yep.
A lot of shit has changed since then, and after 9 years of that shit, it does not have the same impact. It was a good ending. It was like, all right, done. No more Marvel for me. And I have not regretted it once. You guys talk about WandaVision, and I'm like, cool, I'm glad they're enjoying it. People talk about Spider-Man Far From Home, and I'm like, cool, I'm glad they're enjoying it. No desire whatsoever to watch any of those. So,
just to bookend this a little bit and move on to our next section, as I see we have 5 minutes left in this particular call. And I will say that I don't look at scores very often, but when I do, either way, a discrepancy between audience and critic scores, those are the movies I think I tend to like the most and get the most excited about.
When the critics like it more or the audience
either
like
way.
it more?
You mean when there's a big discrepancy and it's controversial is what he's saying.
Yeah. Like,
but it's never that the critics like it more and the audiences hate it.
Oh,
Green Knight.
The Green Knight, there's a big ass controversy about that movie.
One movie. It's one movie. Like, I don't know. And in comparison with, like you said, most movies where the audience likes it and the critics don't. Like, insert blockbuster here. Audience score 83%, critics score 20%. Like, that's...
I think that's the thing with A24 movies, though, is that why that keeps coming up, because the critic scores are always really high, and the audience scores are usually pretty low.
Once again, people are dumb.
Yeah.
There was no superhero punching a villain in this movie. Thumbs down.
I didn't like the homoerotic tension between Willem Dafoe and fucking
exactly.
other dude.
How many homophobic movie critics do you think exist in the year 2021? How many homophobic
movie viewers,
audience members are there? I'm gonna go ahead and say 30%. Like
30%.
So right there,
it's
right there, if the movie has any gay scenes, the absolute maximum score it can get is like 70%. So right there, perfect example of how bullshit the audience score is. Like,
I think we're all in agreement
Yeah.
on this one. I don't listen to the audience scores very often.
yeah.
And I happen to like a lot of A24 movies, and people make me feel bad about that because they're like, they're trying too hard. The colors are weird.
Yeah. They're trying to do something different. They're experimenting. I hate it. Yeah. I've never trashed a movie that took a chance. If you tried something weird, even if it didn't work, my hat's off to you. I don't care. Like, I heard... I still want to watch Swiss Army Man.
Yeah.
I've heard not that great, but they fucking went for it.
Yeah, it's weird shit,
They
man.
did some shit, and like, I will always give a movie credit if it tried something. Like, Sorry to Bother You, fucking, there's no, like, if that movie didn't take as many big swings as it did, it'd probably be like a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
But because it fucking went for it, it'll forever exist as a 9 out of 10 for me. Like, that is a wild ride where they just went for it, man.
The most dialed up to 11 out of nowhere I can think of in a movie, at least. Shit, fucking hell. All right, so that is going to take us into the break. Intermission. Then maybe memes, but definitely the breakouts.
No, we missed a news item. Anyway, we'll see you next time.
I was wrong. We did miss a news item. We're still in the other category. The Cleveland Indians are changing their name to the Guardians.
And racists are like, oh, the Guardian, little lame, generic name. And it's like, you don't know anything about Cleveland, huh?
I do kind of love that they saw the jersey, just X'd out the IND, the IN, and added a GUAR. Get in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same idea behind the Washington Red Tails or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
they
like,
just want
it's
red
still
in the name.
Yeah, you keep the colors, you keep the abbreviation,
but you don't need to. There's no reason to keep the fucking R.
I mean, you're kind of a hard like shift. You could like lose brand recognition, which is what it's all about. Like, I see where they're coming from when they say that. But I fucking love Washington football team at this point. I'm actually going to be a little upset if they change it to something.
Yeah, we
like
all
lame.
dunked on it for a long time, but it's actually kind of fucking cool. Like,
it's kind of fucking awesome.
WFT, like it's
so out of place, and that's what makes it. Fucking great.
It's a Swiss Army Man of football names.
I have come fully around on the Washington football team.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it to just be their name. I am totally down. If for nothing else, because a lot of fans probably bought a bunch of merch.
Yeah.
That could go out of date, and fuck that.
All right. Do we have anything in the meme corner?
Maybe the fucking film and TV discourse should have been moved to the meme corner, but I don't know.
It was a good discussion.
It was organic.
When it comes up, it comes up.
It was fine.
What? It was organic.
What?
Like Eartha Kitt in an airplane.
God damn it, that's a really good episode of television. Yeah, Golden Age of TV
Peak
is
TV.
over because Community isn't on anymore.
Community fell firmly within the realm of the Golden Age. Yeah. And fucking all the NBC comedies. I still watch that Brotherhood of Man commercial like once every few months because I'm just like, Jesus Christ. They literally went Office, Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Community, like just fucking like nonstop.
The real fucking Avengers right there. That lineup.
The flute version or recorder version.
How does that fucking happen? Okay, so I know realistically how that happens is a bunch of SNL people wanted to break into more dedicated TV all around the same time, and
Mike Schur.
Yeah.
One fantastic writer and a bunch of
the talent.
gifted actors
holy shit.
all happened to be on the same network, which allowed them to schedule it, because scheduling matters, so that all the shows would be back to back and the audiences would actually retain, because they knew if you like this type of show, gonna like this show too. Like, oh yeah, and 30 Rock. I forgot 30 Rock.
Right.
Holy shit.
Insane.
Fuck. And now I couldn't name a single show that's on NBC on a Thursday night. Fuck.
Law and Order.
Wow.
That's a safe bet. I mean,
it was gonna be their Law and Order night, and then they pulled. They had Law and Order SVU, longest show in television history at this point. It's literally been on for like 22 years. Longest scripted drama in television history. Or whatever.
Wait, is standard ass Law and Order not being made anymore?
Law and Order's dead.
Oh,
yeah,
I thought it was still. I'm like, how has
ago.
SVU been on for longer than Law and Order? But
Law and Order was famously canceled one season before it was going to become the longest running primetime drama. And everyone was like, what the fuck? That's kind of rude. And then SVU actually passed it.
Oh, thank God Dick Wolf got his due, you know.
Yeah. Dick Wolf, who now also has shows he has his own night on CBS, and it's all Dick Wolf is the man. But yeah, Law and Order SVU, then spun off Law and Order Organized Crime last season with Elliot Stabler, played by Christopher Maloney, who was one of the original cast members of SVU. So that was a success leading out of Law and Order SVU. So then they were like, let's do it again, like Law and Order. What was it going to be? For the Defense is what it was going to be. It was going to be Law and Order from the perspective of the defense side.
Oh, I'm guessing that didn't.
Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of Law and Order? Is that the bad guys get investigated and then go to jail and then go to trial? Like, it feels like you're kind of upsetting the perfect utopia that somehow they always get the real bad guy.
Well, I'm guessing they didn't end up doing that, right?
They had it planned. They were literally like, it was on the schedule. Thursday was going to be Law and Order night, and then they scrapped the show like maybe a month ago.
Yeah, of course, because it was going to be a show where the cops are the bad guys in one way or another.
They announced it. They developed it. They made a pilot. They picked it up to series. They announced it. They put it on their schedule. And then 2 or 3 months before it was going to air, they said, never mind. You get it out of here.
COVID complications.
Who knows how much money on this?
Oh, die.
No, they didn't say COVID. They just said it's not. No. They just said nah.
Oh,
not happening. They also did that the year before. They were going to make a show called Law and Order Hate Crimes. And they got rid of that one too.
That one, I don't know how that one ever.
Well, you say that, but like SVU is about rape. Like, you can't get more sensitive than that.
I forgot
that's
what SVU is about.
Not ideal. Yeah, SVU is literally about rape, and a lot of it's pedophiles, like raping kids. Like, it's literally, you can't get any more sensitive. Like,
Law and Order Hate Crimes sounds like a Robot Chicken parody. Like,
well, again, you got to think about who are the bad guys in these shows. In Law and Order SVU, the bad guys are pedophiles, so no one has a problem making a show about it because they're like, yeah, I get to hate pedophiles. If they make a show about hate crimes, the bad guys are the racists committing hate crimes, and there's going to be more people than you think who don't want to root against those people.
But I'm going to go ahead and argue, having watched a lot of Dick Wolf programming at this point and like how he's taken over, white supremacist men are kind of the only safe place to go anymore for network TV villains. You gotta play it up. You can't just be like, no, I support Trump and therefore I want to kill this congressman. You have to be like, no, I think white
I'm a member of the Aryan Brotherhood.
To be at the top of the pyramid. All the unpure must, like, they have to be comically white supremacist, but it is kind of the only safe place to go anymore, and I'm sure that's what they were thinking with hate crimes, is we will make them so over the top racist white supremacists that like no one can really complain lest they out themselves as a white supremacist.
Again, there are more people than you think who are just already they've outed themselves as blatant white supremacists.
No, I know. Mm-hmm. There's more people than you think, but in comparison with everyone else, like you're not gonna be able to convince me that more than like 10% of the population is willing to self-identify as a white supremacist, that white people are the superior race and all the impure must be eliminated. Like that's gonna be a small percentage. Like people aren't gonna be willing to go to bat for someone characterized that way in the same vein as a pedophile. Now, yeah, if you put some nuance on it, if you actually make them say like, no, I'm just trying to protect my cultural heritage, or no, I just don't know if like it's fair that black people get to go to like schools in that neighborhood. You know, like if you put nuance and actual dog whistles and stuff, yeah, people are going to be very upset. But as long as you make it just cartoonish, then you can't really be mad. And it leads to it being the safe villain, honestly, most of the time.
No, I get it. He just wanted to like keep the property value of his neighborhood high. Like, what? Why
Look,
is he
he
the
was
bad
just
guy?
honoring the covenant that the people who owned the house previously signed. He didn't want to break the law.
Mm-hmm.
This country was founded on religious principles, and he was acting in balance with, fucking hell.
Yeah. The sons of Canaan were cursed with dark skin, so therefore black people are cursed and should be enslaved. Yeah, people forget that the Bible was used for thousands of years to justify slavery.
Right before they changed all that to be homophobic.
Well, yeah, it's out of convenience.
Oh, yeah.
96 times it says shellfish is a sin. Only like 12 times, I think it says homosexual relations are a sin. But I think most Christians eat shrimp. Yeah.
Oh, this guy. I'm a real Christian.
Look, honestly, you know what? If you're going to actually somehow follow all the rules and like, you can't have facial hair. You must stone your wife if she commits certain... If you're going to actually do that, then
yeah, man.
I guess I don't know what to tell you. Like, sure.
Wait, hold on.
At least you're not being full-blown, like, hypocritical about it.
Is the rule you can't have facial hair or you can't shave it off? I don't remember.
No, it's that you can't have it. Like, it's legitimately in the Old Testament because it's considered unclean.
I thought it was
a lot
the
of it
opposite.
was... No, a lot of it was just that, like... they're trying to, like, the elders of a tribe of human beings thousands of years ago said, when we eat pork, we get sick. Let's make a rule you can't eat pork.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know what's going on. People who get beards are getting sick more often. No beards, or, just...
I hate women.
Fucking
Stone your
humans.
wife.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, the gender politics don't exist. Like, literally, women are property. Like... you see where it comes from if you're not literally brainwashed, but so if you're going to actually follow what tribal leaders from thousands of years ago wrote down in a book once, I guess I don't know what to tell you. It's the same thing of my argument with the Second Amendment, where it's like, if you really do think that, like, in order to maintain a well-established militia, which means we got to be given nukes to random yahoos so that they can defend themselves against the federal government, I guess I don't know what to tell you if you actually hold that opinion, because your logic is somewhat sound, but I don't think most of you are going to have that opinion.
It's just this fat, racist, sexist Southern man holding a fistful of bacon in one hand and hating homosexuals in the other. He's like what do I choose?
No. Yeah, you can make arguments against the Second Amendment too, using the biblical arguments, like certain levels of advanced weaponry. Like they have limitations placed on what can be used as weaponry in war. There's Bible verses that specifically go into that. Like you can literally cobble together a somewhat coherent argument against assault rifles using Bible verses. Like, so have fun with that one. Like, yeah.
All right, that will take us into the breakouts.
Breaking them so we can break
What are you guys checking out?
I beat Andrew in Madden yesterday. He was in a rough state of travel exhaustion and
Yeah, that's why I
didn't
lost.
go well.
No other
You
reason.
just beat me like less than a month ago.
Yeah, no,
don't pretend that I'm this unstoppable juggernaut. It's just you have bad games and then you compound your bad mistakes because you kind of give up, and that's that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was fun.
Cool.
It was back to it, although I don't have air conditioning out there, so I was also not having a good time, sweating a lot. I was a literal sweat.
So, I watched a new show that was recommended to me on a different podcast. Have either of you heard of the show Kevin Can Fuck Himself?
Yeah. Based on Kevin Can Wait, where they killed his wife after one season and replaced her with Leah Remini because of King of Queens.
I fucking love Kevin Can Fuck Himself.
Nice.
Golden
age of television.
You guys are aware of like the setup of the show, though, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. To the listener, then, like the show out of the gate presents itself as like standard, like single camera sitcom. The oath of a husband, wife, just like well-meaning, but she loves him at the end of the day. She can put up with his hijinks. But then as soon as Kevin and his buddies leave, it changes into just a drama. A very, like, poor lighting. Everything goes from, like, sitcom clean to just drama grime, which is a lot of fun for me as somebody who just likes television, that plays around with TV tropes. And then, at the end of the first episode, this woman, who is just carrying the entire show, goes on a bender, and after getting really drunk and doing a bunch of cocaine with townies, decides that she's going to murder her sitcom husband. And then sets out to do it over the course of the rest of the season. And I'm not going to get super deep into spoilers, but it's really good.
Mm. Yeah.
And then
it's making waves.
And just even outside of its main plot, which is a lot of fun, a lot of twists and turns, the show really nails the vibe of small town America. I think this is happening in like maybe technically a Boston suburb, but way out there. Whereas just all of these characters have nothing going on, and the everyday sadness that kind of comes with that is, well, yeah, like, well, in the first episode, the wife of the show, her name is escaping me right now, and I'm terrible. She just like has a job working at her aunt's liquor store, and is just constantly being gaslit by the people around her into how great of a job that is. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see these people that are very familiar to me live their sad lives and are just, in a lot of cases, aware of it. Fuck.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah. Why Women Kill also is a similar concept without the sitcom husband aspect, where it's just like piece of shit men throughout the course of history. It's like a three-pronged story. They always do three eras. Piece of shit husbands abusing their wives across eras, like from the 1950s classic, like he's violent and like actively suppressing her, to like the modern, it's the guy from Veep, Reed Scott, I think is his name. You know who he is from Veep, the douchebag. God, what's his name though? I haven't watched Veep in a little bit. You watched Veep, right, Lucas?
Some episodes.
Fuck.
I'm sorry.
Never mind. Like the modern douchebag husband who's like, "Ooh, we should do an open relationship," and like the modern abuses.
Yeah.
And then the same thing. The women all in their own respective timelines go like, "I'm gonna kill my husband." So
I will just say that super quick. One last thing about Kevin Can Fuck Himself. the guy they got to play Kevin is perfect. Like, just, yep, that.
Does he look like Kevin Smith? Or not Kevin Smith.
Kevin James.
They all have first names. Or they all have names. Anyway.
No, yeah, definitely. Like, you can definitely tell that that's what they were going for. And he's great in the role. And I think his only other big acting credit is that he played Shrek in Shrek the Musical.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Eric Peterson?
Yes, I believe so.
Forgot about the Shrek musical.
Yeah. Best known for his starring role as the titular character in the AMC dark comedy series Kevin Can Fuck Himself.
Mm-hmm. Nails it.
I mean, if they're calling it Kevin Can Fuck Himself and it's based on like a show called Kevin Can Wait, in which the main actress was fired from, like, yeah.
But I will say then that the actress playing Allison, the wife, Annie Murphy, carrying this shit, just doing a lot of incredible work.
She's from Schitt's Creek too.
Yeah. All right, Andrew, what have you been checking out besides the great humid state of Florida?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I spent the last week in Florida sweating my ass off through 100% humidity.
What about the week before that? We didn't record.
The week before that, Ryan was in Wisconsin, and we went...
So you didn't do anything?
No, we talked about that on the podcast. Lucas and I recorded.
Not the Voluntary Viewing podcast.
No.
Yeah.
So what'd you watch the week before that?
I'm still playing Metro Exodus.
Ooh.
Which is still fun and atmospheric and difficult. Yeah, that's it.
I thought Aaron Hay... Oh, sorry. I didn't mean
just other than that, working on my my YouTube video. I thought I was going to do a bunch of editing in Florida this week, but didn't work out. And then...
Oh, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot a part of why you weren't checking stuff out is because you weren't allowed to have fun for a little bit there. It was an experiment.
Weren't allowed to have fun.
Yeah.
I'm giving you shit. You were saying, Ryan?
I thought that Aaron Hayes was involved in the show. Kevin's wife in Kevin Can Wait that got murdered after one season. But I don't know if she is.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to come cards...
That's kind of bullshit.
I'm going to come cards clean. I actually don't know, like, the story behind, like, that show. Was the actress not working out and then they killed her in universe to get her off it? Or...
Yeah. So Kevin Can Wait was a sitcom that was basically just Kevin James sitcom, like, same thing. They hired a different wife, I think maybe because, they didn't want to just literally do King of Queens Part 2 with Leah Remini. And it was kind of before the golden age of just reboot old hit shows. And, yeah, I mean, same bullshit. Like, yeah, it's the same trope. Like, Kevin James is like this stupid fat man who does physical comedy and doesn't really belong. And she's like the perfect wife and blah, 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 blah. And it just, I think that because, it was a tired sitcom, no one was really vibing with it that much in the first season. And then, sorry, my lights just went out. But power's still on.
Yeah.
But then, what's it called?
It is related to it somehow. I know that Aaron Hayes isn't in Kevin Can Fuck Himself, but I mean, the last sentence in the Wikipedia description, first paragraph of Kevin Can Wait is, Aaron Hayes's firing was the inspiration for the AMC dark comedy Kevin Can Fuck Himself. Okay.
No, that's what I was getting to is, it wasn't really working out. They moved on from her. In the last 2 episodes of season 1, Leah Remini guest starred, and clearly Kevin James and Leah Remini still had a bunch of chemistry because they worked together for like a decade on a very successful sitcom. So then they kind of were like, oh, all right, let's move on from the wife. And rather than have them get divorced or something, they like killed her. Like they killed her character and had Leah Remini move in as the new kind of like interest. And it just didn't go well. Aaron Hayes was upset about it, and a lot of people were upset about it. And inspired the show Kevin Can Fuck Himself. But I thought she was involved in it, and if she's not, I feel like that's kind of shitty. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like, I feel like you got to give her at least a role or at least some sort of like credit that like her story is what literally inspired the show to the point where they named it after the sitcom that she was in. But I'm looking at IMDb and she has no credit whatsoever. Like, not even a like smaller role. She doesn't have like any writer credit, producer credit, nothing. Like, and I feel like that. I was almost positive that maybe when it was announced she was involved, but yeah, weird.
Oh yeah,
you're kind of just perpetuating the same thing if you're not gonna then help her out. But
yeah, I'm not finding an explanation for that. I hope Aaron Hayes is doing okay.
She's not.
No.
Doesn't have any roles. They hired Annie Murphy, who is coming off of a huge, successful TV show where like they won Emmys and stuff.
Well, okay, that might knock Kevin Can Wait down a couple positions in our 2021 top 10. Kevin Can Fuck Himself. Yeah, god damn it. Now they're the same thing in my mind.
Kevin Can Wait in the 2021 top 10. Hell yeah.
Fuck. A game that probably won't be in my top 10 video games for 2021 though. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It's fine.
That means that Lucas will have played more than 10 video games in 2021, unlike the rest of us.
Yeah. Yeah? What am I at now? Actually, let me... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, I knocked out 10 games in the first quarter of the year, so... That's what's up, I guess. I don't know if all of them count, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Skyward Sword, fine. Like, Zelda game, it's fun. They make some interesting decisions in a way that... Basically, every way they try to change up the Zelda formula, like the standard, like before Breath of the Wild Zelda formula in this game, is a change I don't necessarily agree with. So, yeah, I get it. They tried to do some stuff. Respect that. Not for me. Took a swing. Not to my liking, but whatever. That's how it is. Still better than most other video games, I think, by the fact of being a Zelda game and nailing that shit, but yeah.
The heavy, heavy burden of being a Zelda game. Gotta
find a way to get a bow and arrow in there. Gotta find a way to get a hook shot in there.
Yeah. It's so hard, you know? So few video games can work a bow and arrow into gameplay.
Gotta have a foundation of misogyny, like saving the princess narrative, more or less.
Yeah.
Although Zelda
That's also really hard in modern video games.
Zelda is at least given shit to do in this one, but it's also
gathering flowers and and cooking or something. Yeah, like really
and singing a song.
Ugh. You joke, but wasn't that in a Zelda game?
I'm
that was like Zelda's
positive
role.
that it was.
That she was like the musical. I thought, yeah, maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, well, Zelda always introduces some kind of song in the 3D games, at least. Yeah. I don't know. She's off screen. She's doing important stuff. It's kind of a la keeping Ganon sealed in Breath of the Wild, but it's not great. It's not cool.
I don't know. I watched a lot of Breath of the Wild, and did they really emphasize that, or was it just kind of like a very, very deep background thing?
No, it was a very, very deep background. I know that the whole thing was that, like, the reason things were happening was, Zelda was holding Ganon back, but, like, it was not that Zelda had, I don't know, discovered feminism and, was fighting back. It was just, I have a magic inside me, and I talk like this.
Is that Italian?
It's
hey, it's me, Zelda.
Yeah. Wait, does Peach have an Italian accent? I don't know if I've ever heard Peach talk for an extended amount of time.
I don't think I've ever heard Peach say anything.
I heard her go, oh, or whatever the fuck, like her one-line vocalization, but
a little bit maybe.
I'm sure she's talked in the past. And I'm curious if she has an Italian accent.
Although, like, I will say the one interesting thing about Link and Zelda's relationship in this one is that, Andrew, you know how in Breath of the Wild it's like Link and Zelda definitely want to fuck, but like, and maybe they are, but like that's not super relevant to what's going on, so that's more in the background.
Yeah.
Link is kind of Zelda's loser boyfriend in this game, or she wants him to be, but she's kind of like, dude, you gotta get your shit together, man. Like,
I really don't think it's as like nuanced and creative as what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, like it opens with her kind of saying, dude, you gotta stop being lazy, man, and like start being more proactive about your life. And like she being very clearly into him, but like, nah, dude, you gotta get your priorities better. I can't be the one to initiate this relationship. You have to do that at least.
It's the manga trope of, I'm just a lazy fat slob and don't do anything, but this hot girl still wants me. What do I do?
No, it is the childhood friend trope, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, the childhood friend trope. I forget. Yeah, that's a thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good God.
That's fucked.
So once again, in American media, the childhood friend is like there, but like the guy deserves, quote unquote,
right?
Like,
yeah, he's a good guy.
But they're going for, yeah, but he wants the really hot girl,
right?
Like, because he's blinded by her looks, and then at the end of the movie, he realizes that there was someone for him all along. But like, yeah, he's not a big piece of shit. Like, he's a well-intentioned but like blinded by lust guy. Like,
yeah.
Lucas, you told me you don't like anime anymore. This is
did Lucas tell you he doesn't like anime anymore?
He said it verbatim. I am not even paraphrasing. He said, I don't like anime anymore.
Lucas.
I'm off my bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't know, man. It's a bad season. It's a bad quarter. Not a lot of great stuff coming out. Maybe I'll be singing
Lucas's quarterly anime review. It's going to be a bad one.
Maybe I'll be singing a different tune when Volume 6 of Chainsaw Man releases on the 3rd, but I don't know. A little down right now.
What if Lucas does his quarterly anime review, lists all the popular anime, and he's like, yeah, no, these all fucking suck. And we check them out, and they're actually really good.
Yeah.
We're like, wait, hold on. This sounds like a really interesting concept.
Yeah, we should flip it. We should be really pro-anime if Lucas is insulting anime for one quarter.
Just the contrarian corner.
Yeah, I want to see your planning doc so that I can look at all the ones you hate and watch them all so that I can have really informed opinions as to why you're wrong.
Lucas is just doing like a triple reverse psychology. And he's like, oh man, these are all the anime I hate. Dragon Ball Z and Chainsaw Man and One Piece. Oh, they're so bad. They're not good.
Yu Hakusho. Beastars.
It's just the bit from the other guys where Matt Wahlberg's character is a terrific dancer and no, we learned how to do this ironically
to make fun of the kid. Yeah. No, did you get a slight boost to anime? You sent the Jessica Negri cosplay of Chainsaw Man. Was that a slight plus to your opinion of anime?
That was a nice little windfall for me. I needed that. I needed that big me up.
You did. You were down bad. You were down way bad on anime.
Thank you, Jessica Negri, for that. And you know what? Loving the career arc. Loving you getting big with a lollipop chainsaw, and now you're doing Chainsaw Man content. It's nice.
Sure is getting big.
We gotta move.
The development. Anyway.
We gotta move into the group chat. We got like 2 episodes of Rick and Morty to talk about quick.
No, we don't.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, Andrew, are you behind?
Yeah, I didn't watch this last week's episode.
Aww. I thought that was a bit of a return to form.
Yeah.
I know.
There's a Thanksgiving episode in the middle
I know.
of July.
I've not seen the Thanksgiving episode. I did see the Hellraiser episode, and
It was fine.
trying to think. And before that, was that the Sperm episode?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the last two episodes,
We talked about sperm.
yeah, we talked about Sperm and how it was bad. We did not talk about Hellraiser. I thought it was okay in the way that it was two B plots to what would have been two B plots in two separate other Rick and Mortys to the main plots of those episodes, and they just put two B plots together and called it an episode, and I don't know, it wasn't very good. I didn't think it was terrible.
I was waiting for them to take the critique of Hellraiser one level deeper, but it never really felt like it got beyond. Oh, it's weird that these guys
They like bad stuff.
Yeah, and the infinite loop of that. So I finished Harmontown.
Yeah.
Like a week ago or so, and like I have now listened to every single episode of Harmontown, which is fucking insane to me. And yeah, like they're talking about they talk about that. That's a running joke. Is how demons and like the Addams family and like all people who like bad stuff, how like they will always like everything because if they hate good stuff, that makes them hate it, which makes them love it. Like, like it's always that you can, trace it back to them loving it. Ooh,
Yeah, I thought
delightful.
I thought that joke was good once, and then they did it 10 more times, and it's like,
Yeah. So yeah, that episode not. I mean, once again, none of these episodes are terrible for me because they're all Rick and Morty and they're kind of fun. Like, but I expect more, and I'm not getting it. Other than I would argue, the first episode and the Thanksgiving episode.
Buckle up, Andrew. I will say though,
I think you'll have fun with the Thanksgiving
good.
one. I think it's solid. It was a return to form. I don't think it was as good. I thought the first episode was legitimately like peak Rick and Morty. Like that's them at their best.
Right.
But I thought this was a solid, like one that you'd go back and rewatch.
Yeah. Really excited for tonight's though, which is going to be the fucking anime episode of Rick and Morty. And there have been enough subtle nods and winks and references so far in the series that, like, this writer's room probably has some opinions. They probably get, like, what makes that entertainment medium really good and also really bad, and I can't wait to see them get into that a little bit. Yeah. At least I hope they do.
I just don't know what they can add to the conversation that we haven't already done on this podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're just going to bite off the Voluntary Viewing podcast.
Dan Harmon has listened to every single episode of the Voluntary Viewing podcast. Yeah. He's just now
he
caught
heard that
up,
I was he heard that I was re-listening to Harmontown. He was like, all right, let's listen to 150 episodes of 320-somethings.
He's like, yo, listen to these guys rip on anime, and then one guy tried to sadly defend it.
One guy half-heartedly being forced into the role of defending the worst parts of anime, even though he 100% agrees that they're really, really bad. Like, yeah. You haven't once made the argument that like it's a different culture, which I appreciate.
No, that is
because it's not an argument.
You'll find different opinions on all sorts of platforms.
No, and like that's
than that. You will get that on Tumblr. You'll get that on Twitter. You'll get that on Reddit. Like every single platform will have someone espouse a semi-popular opinion that like, well, it's in Japan they just have different cultural norms, and it's actually kind of like problematic for you to apply Western norms to, and it's just like, but we're talking about universal morality things, not so much like the fact that they eat food a certain way, or like, like it's not applying Western cultural norms so much as like there is an unless you disagree and don't think that morality can be objective, like, you know.
I understand where you're coming from. This media, and like this is a part of why it appeals to me, created in a different culture with a lot of different unique ways of expressing values. This shit is still sexist, though. Like that, both of these things can be true.
This shit is still pedophilic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is an increasing problem in the anime and manga industries. How there are a lot of just pedophiles working there, and nobody seems to be doing anything about that.
Yeah. It's
Matt Gaetz is still
in Congress.
Active.
Like, yeah.
Not even just in Congress, but like outspoken in Congress. Like he's basically bragging like they tried to cancel me.
Yeah, he's one of the faces of the Republican Party. He's like overwhelmingly one of the more popular members of the party, and he is an actual pedophile.
No, yeah, he just is not even just an actual pedophile. He's an actual child predator.
Yeah, no, he's a sex
there is
trafficker.
A difference. If he,
like,
yeah, if he was a self-admitted pedophile, but like said I would never ever act on these urges, be weird. But like, you know, at least he's fine and not a criminal. He's just a real life like worst person on the face of the earth type. Like
the last thing I'm gonna say about this is, I remember in one of my sociology classes that I was taking when I was a freshman, it was basically all about like the different perspectives on culture that different cultures have, basically, you know, like all that kind of stuff. Basic shit, you know, that when you're 18 years old, you're like, wow, I never thought of it like that. You know, it was like different cultures see stuff differently. So when you judge another culture, you're using the lens of your culture to judge that culture, and that's wrong. You know, for example, different cultures view death differently. And in this one Pacific Island tribe, when members of the tribe get too old to take care of themselves, they get buried alive and die. And it's not seen as killing them because they're like, that's the natural stage, and everyone mourns them like, man, wish grandma didn't die, as you are shoveling sand onto their screaming, still alive body. And I'm like, oh, this particular case is different.
yeah.
We can say that about like different cultures' view on femininity and masculinity and religion and shit like that. You're talking about murder of people over the age of 75.
If it were a situation where like everybody there, it's a culture where, yeah, you turn 90 and then you just kind of wander off, and then that's fine. That's different, you know. That's a thing people are participating in. If active harm is being done, that's when it's.
But
that's you can't use culture
the group
as a
think for this tribe. They bury the elders under the sand and let them die, and then they all pretend that they just disappeared.
Yeah. Well, it's basically it's the slippery slope fallacy of like, well, if we start judging them for that, then we're going to start judging for this custom and this, and it's just like, I think there's a pretty easy line here. Like, I don't think it's slippery at all. I think it's a pretty, you got firm grip on this slope. You can, you can pretty easily be like, oh, is this person being actively harmed or oppressed? That's the line for me. That's seems like a pretty easy line to me, but oh well. Yeah. No, it's interesting. But I think that, yeah, there's times where there's just objective morality that doesn't have to be blinded by any sort of lens. And you can just be like, well, I understand why they don't object to it. And it's, yeah, like you said, it's groupthink. They've been conditioned their entire lives to pretend that this is all normal. But, like, doesn't make it right. Like, we do that in the Western, in the Western world a lot, too. Like, we just pretend that, yeah, you just let homeless people freeze to death in the winter. Like, that's just what you do.
Like, oh, man.
We're all kind of conditioned to be okay with that. But, like, that's fucked. Like, I can say that's super fucked.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah. Also, the Packers, Aaron Rodgers is
Oh, yeah.
back.
We didn't talk about that at all.
And Randall Cobb, more importantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Randall Cobb is back. Holy shit.
Man.
What?
The Packers and Aaron Rodgers had irreconcilable differences, and they're like, "Oh, Aaron, we'll do anything," and he's like, "Well, get me Randall Cobb," and they're like,
Wait, that's it?
What?
That's it?
That's easy. And then when we actually made the trade and it was just a 6th rounder and the Texans absorbed half of his salary, I was like, what? We should have probably done this without Aaron Rodgers.
What else can
that's
we
really
do?
all
Like, can we reach out to other teams and say, hey, you know those good guys that you have on your team? What if you just paid them most of their money and we gave you nothing in return?
Yeah. Is Micah Hyde available? Like, could we bring back Casey Hayward? Like, I'll do it for these prices. Like, a 6th rounder is a guy that might not make the roster.
Yeah.
And the only reason not to do it was his salary, and the Texans ate half of it. Like, we're just...
No, they really wanted the Packers'
easy.
6th rounder. The Texans reached out to the Packers like, yo, man, we want part of your roster. Oh, what do you want? Like a back end guy? No, we want your 6th round pick. Man, we will do anything for that 6th round pick. Well, what do you want to get? What are you willing to give up? How about Randall Cobb, Aaron Rodgers' best friend?
How about Deshaun Watson? And we were like, we don't. And they're all right, Randall Cobb. And we're like, oh yeah.
His salary is a
Works
little
for us.
high though.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Like,
No, we got the cap space, man. We'll pay him. We just want that 6th rounder.
Well, I pictured they're literally like Randall Cobb, and all the Packers front office is just like, his salary's a little high.
Puts themselves on mute and just break out laughing.
Fucking losing their shit and just like, okay, we'll eat half of it, and just like, oh, pleasure doing business with you. Hangs up, just fucking laughs out loud.
Yo, is Bill O'Brien back?
Yeah.
What 3-dimensional bullshit chess is going on in Texas that they're like, this is a good trade. We're doing the right thing here.
Randall Cobb wanted out,
Yeah,
I'm sure Randall Cobb, when he got wind that there was potential for him to leave the fucking dumpster fire that is the Houston Texans, he was like,
yeah, and
Texans,
and that's the thing is
do
the
this.
Texans have literally no incentive to try to win games. Like they are about to, I mean they have already imploded, but like they're about to get even worse. They haven't had a first.
Don't they not have their draft pick this
year?
No,
they do have a first round pick this year.
They do have it this
year. So
year?
they do have an incentive to be bad. Like they have no reason to win games. But the last 2 years they haven't had first or second round picks. So they have no guys that are currently developing. They're going to have to start planning for 5 or 6 years in the future, which is why getting rid of your good players that cost money and trying to absorb as many fucking picks, no matter how small as you can, is the only way to go. They're going to lose their franchise quarterback one way or another. Maybe they'll get picks out of him, but maybe not. They've already lost almost every other part of their talented offense and or defense. By the time Laramie Tunsil's contract is up, like, it's going to be 2 or 3 years from now. Like, they're going to be bad no matter what. He's going to be gone at some point. Yeah, it's bad.
Or you could be like me, Andrew, and have 23 first-round picks on top of being the best team in the NFL.
We're starting to go on just...
Why don't they just do that? It seems easy.
We're starting to go on just a little bit, but isn't the new Houston coach just a guy?
Yeah, he's less than a guy.
Yeah.
Like...
He's a bad coach.
He's a bad position
coach. Position coach, which, position coaches have to usually get promoted to coordinator before they can be even considered for a head coaching job. He wasn't even a good position. He ran a bad position group. The Ravens had the worst wide receivers in the NFL last year, and that's the position he was coaching.
And I think before that, he may have been like the running... He's had 3 or 4 different times... Because he's coached different positions. If you coach the running backs, you can probably also coach, the wide receivers at some point or the quarterbacks, whatever. He has coached like bottom 5 positions in the NFL for like 6 years in a row. I would not be surprised if they hired the coach in an attempt to start their tank.
Yeah, it's Ted Lasso. Yeah. Like literally, they're just like, let's get this guy. Because he's bad on purpose, like,
and I know,
the tank commander. That's what they call him. They exist.
And
like,
I know
it happens in the NBA a lot. In the NBA, there might be a coach that like a team wants to tank, and there's a coach that's kind of keeping them hovering around 500. So they'll fire that coach. and then bring in an interim coach, and they call him the tank commander. So, yeah.
And the Houston owner is like a religious zealot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, reminder that the Houston owner is a religious zealot, everyone.
Yeah, and hires Jack Easterby, who's just a literal con man, to be the guy who runs the team.
No, he's going to bring Houston a monorail. It will be great.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening to episode 150 of the Voluntary Viewing podcast, which will probably be titled either No Punchlines, They're Trying Too Hard, The Colors Are Weird, or The Contrarian Corner. We'll figure that out in post. If you like what you heard, like, comment, subscribe, etc., check us out on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, where we got some brand spanking new highlight clips that are terrific. Email voluntaryviewing@gmail.com if you have questions or want to bring us some business opportunities. ActBlue link in the description if you want to help a collection of great progressive causes. We have a Patreon if you want to help us keep the lights on and join the likes of the terrific Tiffany Cole, Sucky Badger, and sensual Richard Nixon. You can also give us money directly through Anchor, which is fantastic. Follow us on Twitter at V2_podcast for updates, and follow me at LucasToWriter on Twitter to keep up with all of my writing. Good luck out there, everybody.